Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. Today I'm gonna give you a walkthrough of the small Nano Aquascape which I built in September 2025. And if you're watching now, this I'm recording this video in April 2026. So a brief overview of this aquascape. So I built this as a moss only aquascape with just rocks and moss in it. I'm going to go through those in detail. However, I'll go through a bit of, uh, I'll just take you back about the journey, what happened, what I did, and how is it at the moment. So when I started this, obviously, as you can see, there's only rocks. You don't see any other plants apart from the moss. So I put the rock pieces and everything together to form the structure. I thought to make it like a cave and then put the Buddha in there. So I have my Instagram. If you're not following, you can see my Instagram. I had some updates on this, how I initially started it and all. So in September 2025, when I built all these things, I started something called as a dry moss start method or a dry start moss method. Uh, Unfortunately, I lost a lot of footage because my phone died and never turned back on. So I lost a lot of content. Unfortunately, I don't have it, and obviously, you can't go back in time. So what happened was, I if you don't know what is a dry start method or a dry start moss method, uh, there are so many good aquascaper YouTube channels where you can go back and watch how it is done. So it's basically once you have your rocks built, and then just take a bit of a moss from any of your aquariums or buy a moss or whatever, just crush it and then make into a blender or anything, or just cut it into finer pieces, and then just with some water, just needs to be like a little bit like a paste. You call it like a moss paste or something. And then you just take a brush and just apply it all over the rocks, wherever you like. But my recommendation is moss works better where you actually get access to the light. Don't try to put moss in shadowy areas where like I did it, so it doesn't grow very well. So try to have it only on the areas where you have access to the light, and your light needs to be on for maybe 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. It doesn't matter how long you want to keep the lights on, but obviously not 24 hours. You need the photosynthesis to happen in a way as well. So leave it on for 12 hours, or in my opinion, 12 to 15 hours is also okay. Um, and you won't get any algae because there's no water in the tank. It's just misting and this thing, so there won't be any issues with that. Since I flooded the tank, it's been nearly 5 months right now. So when I started for the first month, I tried to run it without a CO2, but I didn't see the moss growing very well. It was so slow and it's not working very well. Then what I did was I injected CO2 like in maybe in Jan or something like that. And then I used to run only like one bubble per second, or literally like one bubble per every 2 seconds. Yeah, and see how it works. Then after a month or so, yeah, the moss actually grew really well and it's been doing really awesome. Okay, I'm gonna give you a bit more. Let's talk about the equipment dimensions itself. I think this is something around like 36 by 30 tall and 28 or 26 depth. I don't know exactly, but it's like a 36 centimeters by 30 height and 28, something like that. Um, but well, it's just a small nano aquascape, as you can see. And um, the equipment that I'm running on it is actually, uh, let me show you, give me a second. If you can see, the equipment that I'm running is actually a light, which I bought it from Amazon Australia. So this is called Ramo, which I have two of them right now. It's not a great powerful light, but it's ideal for an like nano builds, a nano aquascapes. It has RGB, as you can see in the reflection, like all the RGB colors, and it has like 5 intensity modes that you can actually use. Depending if you have a planted aquarium, you can use the highest intensity, or if you have less plants, or like you only have a hardscape only or only for fish, you can run whatever intensity you feel like. Coming to the filter, this is a filter which I recently purchased, maybe like nearly running for a month now. It's Bioscape. So that's the name of the brand. and I really like it. And it's a Bioscape 350. It's like a hang-on back filter, so the motor is obviously outside the tank. You and you obviously you have to prime the filter by pouring the water in before you start it. So and then because as you can see, it doesn't occupy space in the aquarium. So that's why I like hang on the back filters. It doesn't take any space. And obviously for me, I feel like that's quite big. It's too bulky for me, but it's okay. It's doing well. It's okay. And if I have like a darker background, maybe that's pretty much invisible. But because it's a lighter background, so you actually feel like it's so visible and a bit ugly. But it's okay. It's a fish keeping hobby. Fish keeping hobby is never 100% good unless you purchase all the fancy glass type and everything. But hey, it's only you watching your aquarium, so don't need to worry too much if you can't afford it. That's okay. And I run the light for 6 hours a day. Right now, I have actually removed the CO2 from it. So the CO2 that is there, you can see on the side, it's actually for the new aquascape that I built on the side. I'm going to go through this updates in the near future soon. Yeah, as I mentioned, I initially started with injecting CO2 at in the month of Jan, after like a month or so, me flooding the tank. With that said, like I ran it for like nearly like 3 months with CO2, but I feel like I was getting a bit more algae issues as well. Why I was getting algae issues? Because as you see, the light and the rock and the moss, they're so close to each other, right? So the intensity of the light is hitting the moss, the most highlighted area and most visible part of the rock, and it's obviously prone to algae when you have the light hitting so directly, and then you don't have any stem plants or anything that are taking over to help you battle that algae. So that's why Moss Only Aquascape usually is not a good thing to do. That's my lesson. That's what I learned. Do I really like the red lava rocks? Even though it has a good texture, it has a good, like, natural looking element to it. I don't know. I prefer no. I don't actually prefer to use these rocks again. Tell you the reason why I don't like this red lava rocks, because it actually has a little bit of the red sand or the dust which keeps coming off these rocks, and it gets really annoying. So watch what I do here. So when I do this, you can see this red color things that are the small particles. This is not debris from the fish. This is actually a debris of the rock itself. So the rock, because it's so porous and it's so lightweight, and when you actually rub it, it's gonna keep getting dusty or things like that. I washed it like a million times, but after you know, after it's in the tank, and whenever I do any maintenance, this is what happens. Or yeah, as you can see, all the red particles, the small ones, that is all coming from the rock, which is getting settled. And trust me, the filter flow is actually fine. It's not about that, but they just keep settling in like that, and it's very annoying for me to do maintenance on this because it gets pretty dirty, and all these particles within yeah, I mean, the filter picks it up, that's fine. But again, the particles keep going and settling back on the rock, and it just like keeps accumulating over time. That's why I really don't like this rock much. Maybe that's how this rock is. I don't know. Well, if you guys tried this rock and you had no issues, let me know in the comments. So this tank has sparkling gouramis. I know they are not visible because whenever I'm coming close to the tank, they actually hide a lot. Even during maintenance, sometimes I can't see them. They go into all the nooks and crannies of the rocks. They hide. They're very good in hiding. Yeah, there's one here, if you can see. It's a tiny little fish. I have three of them in this tank. And obviously, you can see there's a lot of shrimps. There's one shrimp near the Buddha, which is pretty cute. And there's a lot of shrimps here as well. So with sparkling gouramis, one thing I would recommend is to have a lid, uh, because I had four initially and one jumped. So since then I learned to listen, saying that have a lid. So for this aquarium, I just use like a cheap plastic board or a plastic like a writing pad basically. So it's like a clear through one. So and it also fits my size for the tank. So obviously it's a bit nasty at the moment, but I didn't clean it. So what I basically do is just I leave it like that. It's not perfectly straight, but because I have the light and the filter, but it protects pretty much, it covers pretty much like the entire tank on the top, only leaves a little bit of a gap here and a little bit on the back near the filter. That's it. But in a nutshell, this is like my lid, and it's a very cheap, like I think mm, like less than $1 or something. I bought it from Officeworks in, of course, if you're in Australia, you can buy it from Officeworks anywhere. If not, yeah, any stationery place, you would actually able to buy this just like a small clear see-through plastic acrylic, uh, like a writing pad. Yeah, and then this like almost like 30 centimeters as is mentioned, right? So see, that fits perfectly. Let me show you the view from the top. Yeah, so as I said, that's the gap that is there, and the whole tank is pretty much covered from all the sides. So I don't have issue with the fish jumping out from this. Um, yeah, and it's a clear plastic, right? So the light goes through very well. I don't have, and because of the water evaporation, uh, it also the water evaporation is much lesser when you have a lid, and this one actually helps. And another benefit with having this lid is because it's a bit diffused right now, the light is not too strong for the moss. So in a way, win-win situation for me. So let me show you one thing, the background of this aquarium. As you can see, there's like a bit of a diffused light, which is like a nice sunset kind of a feeling that you get. But it's actually nothing like a fancy light. It's just a $15 IKEA light where you can actually stick it anywhere. You can use it, run it with batteries, or you can run it with the power. It's a USB-C powered, and it has like three different controls intensity. You can control the intensity of to 3 levels. I think this one is like the second level. So it's like not too high, not too bright. So, and the most important thing that I forgot so far is what type of moss. And by now, I know you guys would be thinking like, tell me what is the moss? Tell me name of the moss. Right, okay, coming to that point now. All right, so the moss that I'm using in this, there are two types of moss. One is a weeping moss, which is this one basically, and the other one is Physidens, the one in the there, and also you can see some behind the Buddha and everywhere. It's so those are the two types of moss that I actually mixed, and I'm using it. Um, I think it's all right to mix two different types of moss. I think it's just a different texture or anything. Or I think Java moss is also a very good option to try. I feel Java moss actually grows better in many different kinds of setups. It's a much safer moss compared to all other mosses. Because Physidens, I feel like it needs CO2 to actually look really good and a good lighting. Whereas Weeping Moss also needs something similar. So now that I've taken out the CO2, it's not having anymore. I don't know how this tank is going to be in another 2 months or 3 months. If it's not looking good, obviously I'm going to take it down and I'm going to build a new aquascape again. I hope you understood what I went through, and I hope you can build something like this and see how you go through. Let me know in your comments if you have already tried something like this. How was your experience with Moss Only Aquascapes? And yeah, something that I need to learn or like I need to do. I mean, obviously, every aquascape you build is actually a lesson. You learn something from it, and this is a perfect example. Do I really want to make another Moss Only Aquascape? Maybe no. But even if I want to do, I might just go somewhere like put the rock not close to the light. But definitely have access to the light, but not as close as what you're looking at it right now. Here comes my shameless promotion. If you're not following my Instagram, please go have a look at my page and see. You can actually find this aquascape with only hardscape with the Buddha in it, and you can see how I designed it. There are some pictures there for you, a little bit higher quality pictures. You should be able to get an idea of what it is, how it was done. Like just, I mean, with the moss, maybe you're not able to see well, but yeah, go to my Instagram and see there are some pictures of it. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So I just wanted to go through and give you an overview of this experience with the Moss Only Aquascape and what I went through it. I hope you learned something from it. I definitely did. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one.